Another day and another line of code. Happy Tuesday. I'll pour some tea. Good morning. So, last night I did a little poking around, did some reading, SQLite code, some playing around with my little delete to me project or program. And it reminded me that previously I would load an extension into a connection that was against an in memory database, and that I could just ask for this extension to be loaded later. And that works pretty well. We run this. Oh, that is it. We can see that we're getting these logs, our debug message, and so forth. Quite a bit of information. If I close that and I open this one, or open, uncomment, rather, this opens the reverb VFS library against the other one. And I'm using the wrong path. Should be this path. No such VFS. Reverb, target debug. Oh, that's right. No, this is not the good example. In this case, it's expecting it to be the name similar to what you would find in the URL. But that only works if it's previously been loaded. Okay. Yeah, did some digging last night. You can only do this if you've previously loaded it via load extension. So that works for built-in VFSs, things that were compiled into the system. But if you had to load an extension, doesn't quite work. Let's make a comment. Does not work. And this should be reverb. Let's do some examples here. Just one. Mm, Okay, test 2. Test 2 ends up working. Put these out for a moment. Test 3. This one does not work. It doesn't apply the extension to the connection to which it's being loaded. And I think I saw in the source this morning the reason why. So in this case, we're being told to load this extension. This is the entry point for loading an extension in the SQLite source code. And what our code does is it looks up, it registers itself as the default extension, which I'm reconsidering. Instead of associating itself with the SQLite 3 DB, this thing also has a VFS on it. Okay, but let's look at the output. So here, I think we are only going to see the loading of the VFS. Let's verify that. Yes, just the loading. Everything else is missing. I would expect that still to work. All right. Where's the tea? Should be a little cool now. Let's see if we can have some. It's nice. Not melt your face off nice. Just pleasantly nice. Okay. I want to see if we can change our VFS so that it works here and then on here. Basically, I want it to work for test 3, and then I want a test 4. Because I think, based on the reading, to be able to do. Actually, it's going to be this one, but it works on the first one as well. Requires test 3 and just does this. Something like that. Okay. But let's make this one work. I think. Oh, and I think I want to use the DL close as well. Now, not setting it to 1. I was trying to see where in their version history they started to make deal open, deal close optional. I didn't see that last night. I want to find that. I think it might not be a version thing, but more of a more a target hardware doesn't support it, or platform, not hardware. Some platform doesn't support it. There we go. Nice big red fix me. Okay. Now, I want to go back. I don't want to use the default VFS here. You know what we should do? Should, before we get too far, let's just have those changes so we can come back to them if we need. All right. Now, get the default VFS. What if we said no? We're not going to get the default VFS. Right? Where? I thought I changed that. Let's get our default. That's gone. That should create some errors. Perfect. Now, this is the VFS that we will call after our proxy is called. But where do we get that? I say we use the one that's passed in. Okay, we have that. We have this. Let's just pass it through. The PVFS. It is. Well, that I hope isn't it. So SQLite 3, each database connection is an instance of the following structure. That is what I want. It's not lots of information on this. Okay. I feel like this is the wrong one somehow. SQLite 3. Oh, that's going to be everywhere. IO methods. What is this? That's I'm having trouble parsing this. Const nothing. We throw that away. We're missing anything in there. Well, that's disappointing. Oh, no. That's not, we don't need the mutex. SQLite 3 object was the same. That's right here. We know where it is, but how do we get to it? There's the VFS. We don't want that. What is the point of them passing us this? So here's the VFS one. Let's not look at the VFS one. Let's look at here. Let's look at the mem one. Mem VFS. The way that they have their code laid out, the initialization is always at the bottom. They have DB. Okay, well, maybe we do register. They're doing the same thing that I was doing. They're grabbing the default and they store it on their app data. They also do this auto extension bit. Permanently, loading it permanently, yeah, it skips the lifecycle events. I want one that doesn't load permanently. There's init. Rate function. Okay, they return RC, which should be okay. I've thought about doing this, where we have a function that you can call in SQL. It's something that returns status or information. Yeah, they do not implement very many pieces here. There's no real point to passing that through, is there? Because we can't get anything off of it. I guess we do have the pointer, so we could know that it's for this database. Does that even matter? I don't know that it does. But they did give us a pointer. So that's going to be unique. Maybe it's useful in lifecycle events if we have some global state and we need to know which portion to tear down. All right, let's come back here. Undo. That was short lived. And I can't believe that's just that. There's the file, IO methods, mutex, which we saw, VFS. Did I miss it? Each SQLite database is represented by a pointer to an instance of the opaque structure. Fine. Hmm. Okay, so it is intended to be opaque. Open is the constructor. Ha! Hey, Sam. We are just looking at C. Not coding in C today. I have not reverted to my younger self. So we get this opaque pointer. All right. We might have to adjust our once init. So init reverb. I want to try setting this up so it's not default. Oh wait, we need this back. Hmm. Oh wait, nope. That stays off. This here. So if it's null, we return this error. Oh, mismatched. Curly brace. Thank you, Rust. Let's find the VFS find function. Here it is. So create our variable with null pointer. Get the mutex. No. Here we allocate the mutex. Here we enter the mutex. And at this point, we loop through the VFSs. If we're looking for 0, now that's if we've reached the end, isn't it? So we start with a pointer to the beginning of the list. While it is not 0, go to the next one. We're looking for a specific name. Oh, ZVFS is what we're looking for. So if it is 0, then we stop on the first one. Okay. Exactly what the documentation says. Great. I was hoping to see. So yeah, let's come back. I was hoping to see that this would use something off of the DB object, but we're not passing the DB object anywhere. So I'm unsure the relationship between the DB object and the SQLite 3.pbfs between that and these here. In the VFS list. Find VFS list here. Back to the code. So we get the first one. And no, we're still not going to load as a default VFS. I don't want to do that yet. Trying to make option 3 work. It's doing this way. And just as a reminder, um, we only get the initialization. We do not get anything below it. Okay. So we register, not as default. Okay. Now at this point, I think I would like to set up auto register. First, let's see. Does this build? Cargo build? No. Oh, what did I forget? Mismatch. Hmm. The return types are different here. In this case, when we call the function pointer on the next GFS, occasionally there. Let's get rid of this one. This goes back to the previous fix me on understanding when DL open, DL close are actually provided or not. So we'll just change those to always use. We have that. We run it, same effect. Okay. So by doing this, even though we loaded the extension, it did not get applied to the connection. Okay. Now, going back to lib, if we do the auto register, will it get applied? I think it might be too late, but let's try it. No. For this, I'm going to lean on the transmute documentation. Transmute. And let's see the other. What was it? Not VFS register. We want sqlite 3 auto extension. We want that. Now, sqlite 3 auto extension, we have to give that a pointer to a function that looks just like this. So let's get a pointer. And transmute has some interesting documentation here. Actually, we as cast to a raw pointer before transmuting it to a function pointer. This avoids an integer to pointer transmute, which can be problematic. Extension equals sqlite 3 reverb init as uh const function. Wait, no, that's not right. Oh, that's right. Huh. This isn't correct though. We need it actually expects something else. All right, and then we transmute. Oh, no SQLite 3 auto extension on type. Oh, this should be oh, it is on AR. AR doesn't have that. No, yeah, it was a different. Oh, let's see, where is this? Auto extension. Is that on the VFS? Hmm. It has much more than I was expecting. API routines. Yeah, that's AR. Oh, it's just auto extension. My mistake. That's right. One yeah. Auto extension. I'm sorry. AR exposes the things that were defined as functions elsewhere. Unsave extern. Let's see. Okay. So now we have auto extension. We should probably do this. Okay. Let's give that a build. Test it out. Okay. So that still doesn't work. However, I want to try test 4 along with those changes. If we do this, or we just say, I want a modification of test 4. Will it auto load here? So we should see it happen twice. No, it did not. Well, kind of. We received an init, so it did do it, but we had the same behavior. Well, that's nice. Okay, so we can figure out how to just fix this issue here. of it not binding to the connection that it's being set up for, then I think we're okay. So we have a couple of hints. Right? If we do option one, it works. You know what might be acceptable? Let's create a test 5. I want a modification of this one without the VFS bit. Okay. So we load it in memory, and then we just open a connection without telling it that it's a VFS. And that did not work. Interesting. Is that because it's not a default VFS? Got the init. Hey, Crollo. How are you? All right. Let's set it as a default. Oh, see, I really want those lifecycle events. Let's see what happens, though. Okay, there it worked. Looking for this. Okay, so we did the initialization. Do initialization again. Because it's a default. Now, if we had not done the register bit, so if we turn off auto registration and we do the same thing where we are not requesting it to be on this, it still works because it's the default, right? Feels like there's some magic with the memory bit. For example, let's say this was opened against something that's not in memory. let's say this is open file xtload.db3 something. Oh, just one moment, please. All right, just a minute again, please.